It means that we punched our ticket to go try to win a Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every freaking game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Win.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. If you're raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy, to the highest degree to the TOP from the 313. Happy Easter Sunday to all of y'all rocking with me today. I appreciate y'all, man. And this is Down Drought, episode 4, 2003 Buffalo Bills. Guys, if you live through this, if you live through the drought, you know it's not getting any better from here. So this is the 2003 Buffalo Bills that we're talking about today. 6-10, they finished the season. Yeah, not very good. And once again, for those that didn't live through the drought years, I feel like this is something that you should be watching. And really, honestly, seeing how far the Buffalo Bills have come since that time of the drought years, because it was brutal. It was brutal times to be a Buffalo Bills fan from 2000 to 2016. And yeah, I lived through it. I mean, listen, I've been a fan since 89. So I had the heartbreak of the Super Bowls, and I had the displeasure of watching the 2000 Buffalo Bills, right? Pretty much early 2000 Buffalo Bills. And yeah, it wasn't pretty, but I'll say this. A lot of my favorite players from the Buffalo Bills have come from the drought years, which is wild, right? You would think not, but we had a lot of talent come through Buffalo. It's just unfortunate we couldn't put it all together. You know, it's unfortunate that we couldn't find the right coach. It's unfortunate that we couldn't find the franchise quarterback that we were so desperately needing. A lot kind of, you know, happened to, you know, to make this what it was, which was bad football. Right? A team that just could not make it to the playoffs or do really anything. What up, Ronnie? Let's see here. Jacob, Princess don't want popcorn because she wants to be healthy, dog, and live forever. I saw that video. Yeah, it's odd, man. Like, I guess I never gave her popcorn before. So yesterday I go to give her a piece of popcorn, and like she like freaked out. Like she went to go get it initially, and she like backed up. Right? And like then it started like running around the house, you know, barking and freaking out. And I'm like, man, I got to record this because this is wild. Usually she's not that picky of an eater, but I don't know what it was with the popcorn. It's not her thing, man. It's not her thing at all, man. So yeah, that was a funny video. I posted that as a short the other day, man. Anyways, let's dive into this, man. I know a lot of people right now are with their families, and you know, I'm sure a lot of people will watch the replay of this. So for those that are with me live, I appreciate you guys taking the time to rock with me today. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing going, man. Without further ado, episode 4. Here we go. And if you don't know, if it's the first time joining me on this series, this is going to be a 17-part series. Every Sunday at 1 o'clock. This is a show that Peter Rossi did way back in the day. I keep butchering his name. Prescott Rossi did way back in the day. And I thought they did a phenomenal job. It was a three people on a panel, at a table discussing, each year of the drought. And you learn a lot. And there's some things that'll pop up on here, even if you were watching during that time, that you might have forgotten about or may not even have known. So these guys were there. They're actually guys that were out in the field, as reporters. So it's an interesting take from these guys. And I paused the video, and we'll talk a little bit during the course of the video about certain things that they're talking about. And I actually have some highlights of that season that will play at the end of this table discussion. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get this thing started.
Episode 4, 2003. These are not, however, the days of miracles, and I suppose it will be granted that I am not to expect a direct revelation.
Cheers, by the way. Cheers,
Now,
cheers.
On Inside the Buffalo.
Wait. Can't use that title. How about this? All right.
I want to make sure you guys can still hear me.
Hey, you know what time it is. It's Down
Let me turn
Drought,
this down
your
some.
weekly walk through every season of the Bills' 17-year playoff drought. I'm Prescott Rossi. Alongside me, News 8 Sports Director Thad Brown.
Let me know, guys,
Former News 8
if
Weekend
you
Sports
can
anchor
still
Mr.
hear
Gregg
me
Williams. Return
over
to 2003,
the
Bills
audio
coming off
of
an 8-8 season in
panel
2002.
here.
This is Gregg Williams' third year in charge as the Bills head coach.
If you want me to
March
turn it
7th,
down some, or
2003, right at the start of free agency, a
or if
big
it's
day
perfect
for
for
the
you.
Bills offseason. They trade Peerless Price to the Atlanta Falcons in exchange for a first-round pick. Remember, the Bills had given up their first-round pick to bring in Drew Bledsoe, so they get back into the first round by trading Price to Atlanta. They also signed Takeo Spikes. This was on a Friday, fellas. So imagine in the offseason a very busy Friday with all that news coming down. How do you kind of break down covering a day like that where you have big pieces coming and going at the same time?
Well, the Takeo Spikes one.
Okay, so real quick, talking about that, I was super excited to get Takeo Spikes. Play for Cincinnati, the Bengals, that is, for a while. Was an electric linebacker. I mean, that dude was electric as you can get. It sucked to lose Peerless Price. They wanted to add that draft capital. But once again, we have a defensive coordinator coach in Gregg Williams who is taking away from the offense to build up his defense. Now, mind you, I get it. The defense was pretty shitty the year prior in 2002. But now you're taking away weapons from that offense that was electric in 2002. So it's one of those things, man. So Peerless Price, though, a first-round draft pick, you know what? I kind of understand it. I'm not going to totally hate that trade, but now you're one less receiver who is a 1,200-yard receiver. Now he's gone to Atlanta. So, and I'll let you know about the offense in 2003. It wasn't very good.
Was something that had been talked about from the end of last year. When Cincinnati had come to Buffalo, the crowd had chanted TKO. It really had already generated some momentum going forward about let's bring Spikes in. And, whether or not it was a good football move, Spikes was a great player. But it seemed like the fans, I don't want to say dictated the move, but certainly pushed it a little bit. And, for a Bills team that they were probably starting to learn the idea of sell hope and, put something out there that says, come to our games, buy our tickets, even if we don't make the playoffs. Takeo Spikes might have been the first of those things.
They gave the fans what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them exactly what they wanted. And I mean, at the time, it was a great move. I mean, he was
I still want that jersey.
Outstanding.
And
I've been looking for that jersey for the longest time in my
I
size.
still can't believe they got
Not
a
easy to
first-round
find.
pick because Peerless Price had Alvin Harper written all over him. He was Batman, somebody's Robin, but never would be a Batman.
No,
and you knew that even with his years in Buffalo.
And you touched on this in previous episodes, Thad, but what was it like interacting with Peerless Price? I know he kind of had the reputation of being kind of one of those prima donna, wide receiver types. What was your interactions like with him in the locker room?
He was a diva. He was a pain in the neck, and he was a diva. He didn't want
All right, then.
didn't want to deal with you. Didn't want to deal with the media. Wasn't afraid to just give you the hand and say, get away from me. There was one time when he was talking to a newspaper reporter, and I think I've told this story in a previous episode. He was talking to a newspaper reporter in an open locker room period where you'd think you'd be able to talk with him. And he said, I'm not talking to you, as I walked up to him. Just blatantly, just you get out of my face. So that was purely
absolutely, Mark.
We're sad to see him go, and especially with a first-round pick coming back. That was win-win for local media.
And it was one of those deals too where you look at the clips of him from that time, and you see him on the field, and that's how he was.
Yeah.
He was. Molds was the same way, but Molds was the total opposite when he wanted to talk to him. He was like, they both had the chip on their shoulder when they were playing, but Peerless kept it in the locker room.
Yeah.
So the Bills are going into the 2003 NFL Draft with now a first-round pick. 9 days before the start of that draft, the Bills inked Travis Henry to a one-year contract extension. Henry coming off a Pro Bowl season as a running back. After 2 years in the league, it seems like Travis Henry has really picked a foothold with this team. 1,438 rushing yards in 2002, the fifth most in franchise history. No one has more rushing yards during the drought at this time. Was that seen as like, well, we have our running back now, and it's going to be Travis Henry. He's going to be the guy moving forward.
I think it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure. He was locked in. For good reason. The guy was doing everything that you'd ask him. Didn't look like much size-wise. The guy was, but he just sold out every play. That guy had guts, and he had a lot of heart.
It was really a non-story. This was a guy who was going to be a running back. It was only a one-year extension, so it wasn't like they're committing 8 years.
Abso-fucking-lutely. I am a big-time Travis Henry fan. I thought that dude was underrated. That dude put up numbers when he was here in Buffalo. And he even actually put up numbers when he went to Tennessee. Obviously, he had some off-field stuff going on after his NFL career. By the way, he got pardoned recently by Donald Trump. But as a player, as a running back, that dude put up numbers, man. I was a big fan of Travis Henry and his running style. That dude left it all on the field, man. Physical. He had pretty good speed, good vision, good contact balance. The dude knew how to find the end zone. So I was a big-time Travis Henry fan, big time.
The money to the guy, but Travis Henry was a good to very good running back that deserved to have more money paid to him.
Probably wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed.
No.
But you know what?
That's fine.
To carry the rock, you don't really need to be.
Yeah.
Well, the good feelings last all of 9 days because round one of the NFL draft is April 26th, and the Bills draft Willis McGahee with the 23rd overall pick. The immediate thoughts to that draft
So
pick
that's
after
interesting.
Just signed.
So that's a typical Buffalo move back then, right? Poor GM, poor coaching decision, for Williams and the GM at the time, Donahoe. And look, I'm a big Willis McGahee fan, big time. You guys know I'm a Hurricanes fan. So any player coming from the U, I support. He had a terrible injury that I saw live in the college championship game against Ohio State, where his leg just went to shreds like on that hit. Like it was one of the most horrific injuries I've seen live from a player on the field. And for that dude to come back and play as long as he did in the NFL, man, you gotta tip your cap to him. But why would the Bills draft him there when you had a running back in place? You just gave him an extension for another year. It wasn't like Travis Henry was this aging running back. You could have probably given him a longer extension and kept him in Buffalo, let's say another 3 years at least. And then you worry about getting a running back down the line, which, by the way, Buffalo Bills back in the day in these drought years, we loved drafting running backs. And we drafted good ones. I'm not going to lie. Right? We had some good running backs come through Buffalo. Travis Henry, Willis McGahee, Marshawn Lynch, CJ Spiller, Fred Jackson. The list goes on, right? Obviously now with James Cook, we've had good running backs, but we didn't necessarily keep them a long time in Buffalo. A lot of these guys were here 2-3 years, right? And then we traded him away. Kind of crazy. That's why, like, I was a little surprised. I'm not gonna lie that Bean gave the extension to James Cook. You know, I for me, I get it with the running backs. They have a shorter, you know, NFL career than most positions. They get a lot of wear and tear on their body. So you got to be real careful when you give out these extensions. I mean, you can look at the history of the NFL in running backs. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley, right? For, you know, he didn't have a great second year in Philadelphia, right? It's a risky play. And I'm not saying Saquon Barkley won't have a better year this year, but and you got guys like, you know, that are like even McCaffrey. He was great, but can you count on his health every year? You can't. The history tells you he takes a lot of hits. He gets, you know, running backs get broken down. The guy for the Rams, you know, a while back, I can't believe I forget his name, but a guy that was the best running back in the NFL for a while. They gave him a huge extension. He blew out his knee, and he was never the same. That was it. That was a wrap. So I was surprised they gave James Cook the money, but when I did look at James Cook's college career and even in the NFL at that point, I'll say the one thing, or at least the one thing that I thought, you know, it made kind of sense to give him the extension was he didn't have a lot of wear and tear. He didn't have a lot of carries in Georgia in college, and he didn't have a lot of carries really in the NFL up to that point, right? He wasn't like a workhorse running back. So he has a lot of tread on the tires. So I get that part. Like that part obviously is something they looked at as well, right? As age, not a lot of, you know, he has a lot of tread on the tires still, not a lot of wear and tear on the body. So I understand that. But, you know, in the course of Buffalo's history, we never kept running backs around long. Roy Combs reposted the stream. Roy Combs. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know Roy. Roy's the man. Roy's the man. Oh, you are Roy. Todd Gurley, thank you so much. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Sometimes, man, when I go live, sometimes it sucks when you forget a player's name or a coach, and you're live. Ain't nothing you can do about it. And that's what the chat is here for. That's what you guys are here for, to help me out when I have that brain fart. So, anyways, let's continue this on. Let's continue on.
I think Travis Henry do a 1-year extension.
It was a shock, you know, by itself. Yeah. Forget about the extension. The Bills didn't need a running back, and they certainly weren't the type of team that was taking chances on a guy who wasn't going to basically play all of the season after which he was drafted. I remember being in the room, and we're getting close to the pick, and McGahee's still on the board, and most of us thinking, nah. And then at some point before the pick was made,
it shocking.
Seemed like it was going to happen.
Not gonna lie.
And then there's the video of him on the phone with Drew Rosenhaus on the phone, and you knew it was coming.
I was happy for him.
I believe the Bills are doing this.
I just
the 23rd selection in the 2003
that's
NFL
that
draft, the
big
Buffalo
surprise.
Bills select Willis McGahee, running back, University of Miami.
We had bigger needs. Let's be real, guys. Like that's a poor job by the, you know, GM and coach. And I like Willis McGahee. I honestly I was happy, but
54 sacks the year before. Drew Bledsoe just got beat up, especially the tail end of that 0-2 season.
Not the smartest
move. Going into his sophomore year, but to not work on the offensive line at all, to not fix up the other problems of this team, of which there are many, and to go with running back, the one position you felt most confident in. I have to imagine that was like, really, this is the move they're going to make,
and a guy that's not going to even play that year.
It's a
right.
You draft an old lineman. You're kind of like, there's no marquee factor to it. You're not selling tickets with an offensive lineman.
Well, I don't even know if it was about selling tickets. I always looked at the McGahee pick as this was a guy that was severely undervalued at 23 as opposed to what he would have gone at if he was healthy. I think Tom Donahoe looked at, well, I'm going to get this guy.
So that's a fair point. It is, because if McGahee doesn't get hurt in the championship game, he for sure is a top 15, top 10 pick in the NFL draft, probably top 10. But because of the injury, obviously he slid down in the first round, and teams knew he wasn't going to be ready for that season. So you had to wait, and then you had to hope that Willis McGahee's still the same player that he was before the injury, right? So it's a little bit of a risky move, but I get it. You know, you're like, oh man, this guy, like, can we pass on this dude who's going to be a top 10 pick potentially? let's just grab him. But still, you have bigger needs at that point. Like they said, offensive line, like Drew Bledsoe taking hits after hit, right? You got to protect your quarterback, right? You're in a rebuild mode still, right? This isn't it to me, guys. It's different if your team is already winning, right? You're already a playoff team year in, year out. And you're like, fuck it. You know what? We got we don't really have needs. Let's just draft the best player available. And wow, this guy slid here. And you know what? We can, push him to the side, let him rehab. Like there's no rush. We're in no rush for that. But why not draft this guy? Right. But that wasn't the case here. When you're in rebuild mode, you need to draft for need. You have to build your team, right? The right way. You can't just, take whoever on the board because that's what you want to do. Like you got to do the right thing. And they clearly didn't. You see why this team was in a drought. Like shit like that. You know what I mean? And once again, I like Willis McGahee, but what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Bills Mafia hitman. I can't stand Willis. He never wanted to be in Buffalo. He wanted out the second year, right? Yeah, okay. I get it. Look, it's a fair point. And we all know Willis McGahee was not a fan of Buffalo, okay? But he wasn't the first, right? And I don't look at the end I'm not going to hate a guy for not liking the town or liking the cold. Like it's preference. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to hate the player because of that. I mean, he's coming from Miami. You know what I mean? And I get it. Hey, you go where you're drafted, but that doesn't mean he has to like where he's living, right? I'm not going to hate the guy. But I understand. I understand your point. But look, he was a good running back. Like, you know what I mean? Like while he was here, he was a good running back. He wasn't here long. But yeah, he just wasn't. Buffalo wasn't a good fit for him, right? But it's how it works, right? He got drafted. He still played for Buffalo. It's not like he demanded a trade right away, right? And you got to remember, some players who get drafted demand. We've seen it, right? They don't want to play for that team. They're already telling them trade me already, right? So it happens. I mean, realistically, Jim Kelly didn't want to play for Buffalo. We drafted him in 1984, right? Jim Kelly decided to go play for the USFL, right? Just saying. So it's not the first time that's happened. Jim Kelly, a guy that Buffalo loves, right? And then he had no choice, and he came here in 87 because the USFL shut down, and we still had his draft rights. So trust me, it's not like it was not uncommon for certain players to go, oh, Buffalo, especially at this time, right? It's not like Buffalo, was this playoff team, great place to play at that point. Like there was a lot of bad things going on at this time in Buffalo, right? And then you throw in, obviously the snow and Buffalo's not for everybody as far as like the nightlife, let's say, right? Entertainment goes. So you throw all that in, right? You combine all that. Of course, a player's going to have some feelings about it. So I'm not going to hate on that. I'm definitely not, because then, we should hate on Jim Kelly, right? Like Jim Kelly, he hated Buffalo so much, he went and played for a whole different organization, whole different league, right? So he was basically, by the way, Jim Kelly, not only was he forced to come here in 87, but we also had to give him the highest paid contract at that time to come play for Buffalo. So like we did everything we could to get Jim Kelly here. That's how much he didn't want to be here. So I'm just saying. Now, of course, he came to love Buffalo, and Jim Kelly, obviously, I believe he still lives there. So like now he loves it, of course. You know what I mean? And once he got to be here a while and get used to, the city of Buffalo and all that stuff, But it wasn't easy at first. Hello, Tommy. Happy Easter. Oh, Mr. Fulton, the most interesting man in the chat. Hello, Tommy. Happy Easter and happy Resurrection Sunday. Jesus is risen from the dead, and I was celebrating Autism Awareness Month. Hey, Mr. Fulton, you have yourself a happy Easter Sunday, man. Let's see here. Quadus. Tommy, my question is why these players don't want to play for Buffalo. Is it because of the market? Back then, I think it was because Buffalo was a hot mess. Let's be real. Like in the 2000s there, it wasn't appealing, right? And then obviously in the early 80s, when Jim Kelly initially was drafted in 84, Buffalo was not like this good football team. It was a bad team. Let's be real. Buffalo was shit. You know what I mean? So you combine kind of everything, and Buffalo's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Let's be real, right? Let's be honest here. There's not a lot of things to do in Buffalo, right? It's not for everyone, right? Let's put it that way. So a guy, certain guys are like, oh, I got to go there. It's snowing. There's nothing going on, and the team is terrible, right? So now not everyone thinks that way, but I'm just saying. So, but when you're a winning team, right, it doesn't matter where you are. Of course, players want to go there. They want to play for Josh Allen, like right now, right? When we talk about Buffalo Bills 2026, and you want to talk about free agents and players and draft picks, they talk highly of Buffalo. Why? Because we're a winning team. We got Josh Allen as quarterback, right? But they're not. You ever hear any free agents or draft picks going, I want to play for Buffalo because, man, I really like the cold and I cannot wait to be in there, live there when it's snowing and I can't get out, can't get to my car because I'm trapped in my house. Of course not. They never bring that part up. What they bring up is the fact that they're going to a really, really good team. They know they're going to be on a winning team. They know they're going to a team that has one of the best quarterback, if not the best quarterback in the NFL. So it's a little bit different now at times compared to the drought years and then the early 80s, right? So, you know what I mean? Bob, how you doing, man? I was just about to say I don't blame them. It was a dark time in Buffalo. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jim stayed through Willa's beast mode out the door first chance he got. Yeah, but Jim stayed, but not initially, right? Jim stayed because, well, let me rewind. Let me take that back. Jim initially said, fuck no, I'll go play for another organization, a whole nother league. My bad, a whole nother league. I'd rather take my chances with the USFL, right, than play for Buffalo. That's how badly he did not want to. That's how much he didn't want to play for the Buffalo Bills. He said, fuck it, I'll gamble and I'll go play for a USFL, a whole new league, right? Than rather play for the Buffalo Bills, right? He played there 3 years pretty much, right? And then he came to, then Buffalo had the rights still, so he had no choice, right? Once the USFL shut down, it's not like Jim Kelly was like, oh, fuck it, I gotta, I'll go play for Canada. Like, no, dude, he knew he had to come back to the NFL at that point. And the Buffalo Bills had his draft rights. Also, Buffalo Bill paid him a ton of money. I think he was the highest paid at that time. They made him the highest paid player at the time, I'm pretty sure. So he was kind of forced to be a Buffalo Bill. Let's be real. We're going to be real. Let's be honest. Now, once he got here, I get it. But he also had the contract. So it wasn't like, where could he go? Right? Now, obviously, the Bills did him right, and they built a team around him, right? Marv Levy in the building, right? Bruce Smith was there, right? I believe Bruce Smith was drafted in 80. What was Bruce Smith drafted? 86, right? So he was there before Jim Kelly arrived. So he was the year before, I believe. So, but they drafted Reed, Thurman Thomas in 89. So they got players. They started building around him. And of course, winning solves everything. So once you start winning, of course, you're loving the place you play in, right? So yeah, I'm just saying, I get your point. I understand your point, but that's the way it goes, man. Look around the league. Matter of fact, look around the NFL right now. When you're a bad team, right, for so long, like Cleveland, all these bad teams, right? Cleveland just won. Jets. You'll start hearing players that want to get out of there, right? Right? Start writing letters, right? And how do they stay? Myles Garrett. Well, we'll make him the highest paid edge in the league, right? We'll give him this massive contract to force him to stay here. Like, it's how it works, man. But if Cleveland was a winning team, they wouldn't have to do that. The players would want to play there. Let's be honest, a lot of these players come from poor families, and now you have the opportunity to become stable. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what that is. 86. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know why I was thinking 88 at first, but you're right, 86. Thurman was 89. Andre Reed. When was Andre Reed? When was Andre Reed? 86 as well? Was Andre Reed 86 as well? I think he was, right? Reed was 86 as well. Anyways, let's get back into this.
Maybe a year down the road here. So you understood why he was doing it, even if short term and maybe beyond, it really made no sense for the Bills. But you got the thought that, okay, we're going to take this guy, in a spot where he's very undervalued. And he was. I mean, Willis McGahee, before he got hurt, was thought of as a game-changing running back. But
he was.
After he rips his knee up in 7 different directions, you knew there was going to be some residual, and it was going to be a while before he played.
Yeah, that video of McGahee's knee injury in the BCS championship game.
That was the worst part. The worst part about him being drafted is that all
that was
had to watch that video over and over.
Gruesome.
The other news of the offseason that isn't obviously on that level of drafting McGahee, but something that I think is worth noting, the Bills at Ralph Wilson Stadium changed the turf over. They install field turf. The first team in the NFL to install field turf.
Hey, field turf.
4 years of covering the Bills at home on AstroTurf. What was it like to cover a game on that? And for those who may not know, when you cover a game at the Ralph, because the front row is so low,
y'all remember that?
Kneel when you're shooting on the sideline. It's the only stadium in the league where that's true. Everywhere else you can stand. What was it like covering a game on that level, on that playing surface?
Well, I remember when they first talked about putting in the new turf, I'm thinking, oh, good, they're going to lower the field so we can stand up now. Wishful thinking on my part. But I found the old turf wasn't as hot. The glare off the field turf was it's blinding.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get the reflection off that was a lot worse, and not just from a sunburn standpoint and that kind of thing and the visibility, but it was tougher to shoot. There was a lot more light differentiation.
The heat ripples on the bottom.
Yeah.
That's the thing I've noticed. I didn't cover any games on AstroTurf, but I know on our cameras, they can get very technical, and you try to up the quality, and all of a sudden you see that.
Thank God we went. Coming off and this new stadium has grass
at that level, because your video just looks totally wavy, like it's like something psychedelic or something like that. In terms of the player's health, I have to imagine going from AstroTurf to any playing surface would be better than playing on that carpet.
At that point, it was something that everybody was doing, around that now, not necessarily in the NFL, but just you could see the trend was going to the field turf stuff. And what Dave is saying is right about the old thing was like a carpet, so it didn't reflect anything at all. It was like literally someone's really low carpet at home. The field turf is actually like blades of plastic grass, and the plastic has a little sheen to it, which reflects light a little more and makes it a little different. I think from kneeling on it, I think the newer surface was a little softer because it just wasn't a carpet, so there's a little more give to it. But either way, when you're on your knees, we all wear large knee pads. They look funny when you see us with them. You still needed them when they went to the new turf.
And the new turf also, of course, has the little black pellets.
Oh, yeah. That's
which get in the spots that you didn't even know existed.
That was the first thing. You're covering a game, and all of a sudden you go home, and the first thing you do is take your shoe off and, empty out the black pellets.
Yeah, the pellets. You remember that, guys?
I'm sure they're totally healthy.
Pellets popping up.
Nothing wrong with those black pellets whatsoever.
Don't need to find out about that.
Moving on to training camp in 2003. Obviously, a first-round pick is not going to be participating in camp because McGahee's still coming back from that knee injury, but St. John Fisher in Pittsford almost becomes the center of the sports world, especially in upstate New York, because just down the road at Oak Hill Country Club, the 2003 PGA Championship. Fellas, what was it like covering Bills camp at the same time of a golf major, literally, well, not literally, but practically across the street?
Bills camp was almost an afterthought.
Yeah.
For that week, it was just all, no holds barred. You just threw yourself into Oak Hill. The Tiger factor, Sluman mania, perhaps. Jeff Sluman, the Greece native, is out to prove this week that you can indeed go home again.
I think we may have relied on our Buffalo affiliate. The other interesting part was a lot of the golfers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday went over. I know Phil Mickelson was over there. There was,
See, I don't live in Buffalo, so I don't
think Bubba
recall
Watson,
this.
someone else.
We're hearing about this. Maybe you guys
David Thomas.
do if you're from Buffalo.
So there were a few golf, and that was really the bigger story from Bills camp for us that week. When a PGA player went, now we have to go over to Fisher and get the golf. Because we didn't have enough golfers at the course, but then even at Bills camp too.
Name recognition, not a problem for the champions of 2003. Think of 5 golfers off the top of your head, and you probably got 5 guys who've already won this year.
But I think the other part of it with Bills camp, year 3 of Gregg Williams, the Drew Bledsoe buzz was gone.
Yeah.
They hadn't been in the playoffs in 3 years. They didn't seem like they were going to make the playoffs, especially with a first-round pick that was going to be irrelevant. So I think we were of a position where, and this was the height of Tiger Woods. The PGA Championship was the story, and the Bills were not, especially just for 1 week in training camp.
So that happens in the middle of August. The start of the regular season is September 7th, but 5 days before, on September 2nd, the New England Patriots cut Lawyer Milloy, their 4-time Pro Bowler, the defensive captain, their strong safety, one of their leaders on their defense. And then immediately the rumors start swirling. The Bills are interested. What was that week like in that lead up to week 1?
Not only one of the leaders
I
in their
remember this like it was yesterday, guys. Lawyer Milloy.
He was one
Piper.
of the top union reps for the Players Association. He was just one of those, huge stature figures, and for him to be available was, obviously they were.
And for us to be able to, for the Buffalo Bills to be able to snatch him up too, and for him to choose, come to Buffalo as well, like that was a big deal. Like Lawyer Milloy coming to Buffalo, man, I was super excited. And then we play New England week 1, like guys, like that, that was awesome. Like at that time as a fan, I was like, oh, let's do it.
I'm coming.
And especially the first week, obviously, the whole, getting revenge. Yeah. He was unhappy. That was not an amicable part of it.
Yeah, he was pissed. He was pissed.
Exactly. Yeah. And the Patriots were already becoming and now have become very famous for doing it whenever and to whoever they want. Anybody not named Tom Brady. So to come to Buffalo, it just stoked the fire for the game. And again, coming off the Bills were 8-8 and Drew Bledsoe, and there was optimism, but there wasn't excitement until Milloy happened.
And the Patriots are coming off a 9-7 season in 2002. It's not like now where you think of Brady and Belichick as these, geniuses that have controlled everything. Yes, they have a Super Bowl ring, but they hadn't won 2, 3, 4, 5 by this point. So to see Belichick letting go of such a big player on defense, I mean, they have to think like, oh man, the Bills have hit the jackpot here.
People thought because he had one very fortunate Super Bowl and a non-playoff season. That's what the Patriots were then.
Yeah.
So
the Jets made the playoffs that year.
What is Bill Belichick doing? Who knew that he knew everything that was going to happen?
And I mean, to spoiler alert, but that was the first time I started thinking, if Belichick cuts a guy, leave him alone.
Yeah.
Do not. There's a reason. This guy knows what he's doing. When he lets somebody go and doesn't expect anything in return, you don't trust him. You can tell how old this was too. This game, because Belichick was wearing like a nice golf shirt.
Yeah,
he actually looked polished. I'm like, okay, he's still earning it.
Well, there you go. Week 1 Sunday, September 7th. The sun is shining in Orchard Park. Fellas, just walk me through week 1. Obviously, we all know
unbelievable game, man.
Over the Patriots.
We just romped them.
I mean, everything. Sam Adams scoring a touchdown.
The
Patriots doing 0. You watch the video and you wonder how Tom Brady and the Patriots were capable of such a game.
Yeah, and Milloy had a sack.
Yeah.
In that game, I mean, Brady just missed getting his head just cleaned off by Milloy. Just ducked out of the way in time, and Milloy gets up and does the fit. It was just, it was everything. You couldn't have scripted it better from a Bills point of view.
And every impact player that the Bills signed on defense has an impact in this game. Sam Adams, Takeo Spikes, Lawyer Milloy, all 3 of them have a sack or an interception, a touchdown.
Spike stops a third down. I think on the first possession, the crowd goes crazy. The whole, like I said, on Monday,
dude, Spikes
was just the season open.
Nailed, bro. Spikes was a hitter,
and
boy.
Then the game starts out.
And in that game, he was.
Start out, and then the rest of the day was a huge party.
They were feeling his hits, man.
First and only shutout win for the Bills since 1981 on opening day.
Wild, huh?
Week 2, the Bills go into the Heat in Jacksonville, and that game is one of Bledsoe's very best games. 2 touchdowns, 144.2 passer rating. The Bills go on to win 38-17. So 2-0 to open the 0-3 season. I know there's a lot of football left, but Where can this team go?
I thought they were going to the playoffs. I remember distinctly thinking after week 2, this team is legit.
Me too. At that time, 2-0. You blew out New England. You're feeling pretty good there. And I remember going, okay, because the year before, if it wasn't for the shitty defense, watch the fuck out, because our offense was electric. And we start off the season beating New England here 31-0, and then we beat Jacksonville 38-17. Back-to-back wins, back-to-back blowouts. Right? You're thinking, okay. right? Here we fucking go. And nope. Nope.
We're going to be covering them for a long time. They're going to be in the race. They're going to be division champions.
What up, Scott? How you doing, man? Happy Easter.
I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to get to cover this great team.
Yeah.
After, I remember between Jacksonville and week 3, that's all I thought about the whole week.
That week 2 game too was another, okay, they had all the momentum and all the emotions.
They
of
fooled
the
us.
Opener and being New England and all that. Then go to Jacksonville and follow it up with a performance like that. You know, you're like, okay, this could be for real.
That looked like Apollo.
Yeah, it really did. That was like that trap game kind of.
Such a
Henry
shame.
scores 3 touchdowns in that game as well, as the Bills look very impressive.
My big
going
dog,
2-0.
Travis
For
Henry.
Week 3, Sunday Night Football in Miami. The play that's obviously most talked about from this game, Travis Henry throws an interception in the red zone in the first half of that game, and just the Bills offense never shows up, losing 17-17 there in Miami. Just the thought, as you see Travis Henry dropping back to pass inside the 10-yard line.
It was one of those. Travis was a short guy.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting him coming, your typical end around, kind of coming off tackle or whatever, and it's like all of a sudden he pulls up. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Yes, he is. And the shot put, it's like a 9-iron kind of coming over. Like seriously, I think it was Patrick Surtain.
Yes.
Jumped, and there was a battle for it between him and I think Molds, like basically at the goal line.
I think it was Bobby Shaw.
Was it?
Yeah.
And it was, possession,
Bobby
9-10 the law, Dolphins game. They had another pick in the end zone too. In that game.
Bledsoe throws a pick in that game in the end zone as well.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everybody remembers the Travis Henry play. And for me, 2003 swung and was decided on that play. That was the
That
play.
early, though?
Oh, I mean, you didn't know it then.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, you look back and said, if only we didn't have Travis Henry throw the ball to the goal line.
Yeah.
But the thing about that is that the Bills actually called the ball right back and drove right back down the field, and Bledsoe threw another pick in the end zone that no one thought.
So the next 2 weeks, the Bills split. They lose to the Eagles at home, then win against
Here
the
comes the
Cincinnati Bengals to
losses.
go to 3-2. Week 6, the Bills go to Giant Stadium, go to the Meadowlands to take on the Jets. And we talked about this in 2002.
Yeah, Scott,
Ralph
me too,
Wilson
man.
getting into it with Jets
Me too,
fans.
brother.
At this point, because you knew about the year before where, Jets fans are swearing at him and
Underrated.
yelling, and he's pointing back at him, are you thinking now like, well, we know Ralph is here. We need to find him. We need to be on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jets fans are going to be yelling at him again. And let's
Oh,
see if we
dude, guys,
have
this is
another
great.
instance of Ralph yelling at fans.
Yeah.
So entertaining. And I didn't
Or
think
was the
Ralph
last one I showed you?
85 at the time.
Ralph
Yeah, I
Wilson,
mean,
boy,
so
be getting
he
it
was
with getting
just-
into it with fans. I love
it was
it.
as exciting as when the coach or the star
Look
player
at him. Yee.
So the Bills lose 30-3.
Why
in that
is
game
he
as well.
out
And
there,
At this point, I'm
John,
thinking,
with
well, maybe
faith?
that 17-7 loss in Miami was no Ralph was here.
Guys, like,
knew about the
he
year
went
before
right
where,
to
you know,
the Jets
are
fans.
swearing at him and yelling.
He
and
went
he's pointing
straight-
back at him. Are you thinking now like,
Straight there.
well, we know Ralph is here. We need
Look
to
at him. He
find
could
him.
have
We need to
walked
be on
away.
him.
He could
Because Jets fans are going to be yelling at him
No,
again.
man.
And let's see if we have another instance of Ralph yelling.
Look
at
at
fans.
these fucking no good Jets
Anything
fans.
Ralph Wilson did.
85 at the time.
Picking on this old man.
You were just, when's Ralph coming out? You know,
Ralph
it was as
ain't
exciting
backing
as when
down.
The coach or the star players came out.
Look at the one guy trying to get him out of there.
So the Bills lose 30-3 in that
Oh,
game as well.
dude, guys, that's fucking great, man. That is fucking great. I mean, you won't see a lot of owners getting into it with the opposing fans prior to the game. I mean, that's fucking great, man. We had a lot of individual players that were great, just not enough at the same time. Could you imagine Jerry Butler and Eric Moles playing with Josh Allen? Yeah, dude, trust me. There were so many players through the drought years, Scott, that I was saying earlier that were some of my favorite players through the drought years. Like, we had a lot of good talent come through Buffalo in this time, right? And It's just a shame we couldn't put it together. It's just a shame we couldn't find the right coach. We couldn't get a franchise type quarterback here. It just, we just couldn't put it together. But we had a lot of good talent, like I said, come through Buffalo. Just, it's unfortunate, man. But yeah. But man, Ralph Wilson. Dude.
And at this point, are you thinking, well, maybe that 17-7 loss in Miami was actually a real precursor of things to come because the offense doesn't show up and they lose to a winless Jets team?
It was disturbing.
Look at this. Can't even beat the damn Jets.
It was they were 3-3. Yeah. So you're still okay. There's still a season. Let's see what happens next.
Week 7, Bruce Smith and Rob Johnson come to town as a member of the Washington professional football team. Just the thoughts as
Bruce Smith coming to town. That's
crowd.
Weird,
you could hear
huh?
from the crowd. You could just kind of get that vibe.
Fucking sorry ass Rob Johnson
from 03.
He did nothing, by the way. He did nothing here.
Rob Johnson, we are ready.
Did nothing when he left.
Dogs ready to pounce on the red meat.
It was that interesting, the
Bruce.
love for Bruce.
The
hatred for Rob.
Those aren't boos. Those are Bruce.
It was the best part. One of the best parts of that season. It was a 4:00 game. One of the
you booed the shit out of Rob Johnson.
Drought, and they really dominated Washington. You talk about worried about the week before. They owned this game. They were a good-looking 4-3 coming out of this game. And at the end, when I think it was Pat Ramsey was the quarterback for Washington, when Rob comes in, it was like fresh meat being fed to the elevator. I've heard the Ralph that loud, but that vicious and that out for blood. I mean, it was because you knew it wasn't at you. You kind of laughed at it, but to be a player on the receiving end of that had to be somewhat intimidating. Now Rob, the California guy didn't care. But it was angry.
Of course not. He had money in the bank. We paid him all that money. You don't care.
For week 1 to be at this point now in week 7. I mean, how would you compare those two crowds? The week 1 win against the Pats versus this week 7 win against a bad Washington team.
Week 1 was woo, yay, look at us. Week 7 with Rob Johnson
we're out for blood.
Yeah, you're gonna get it because at that point the Bills had won the game. So Bills fans
he comes in the fourth quarter.
Plus, you know what? It's 7 as opposed to 4. More time for alcohol earlier in the day. I'm sure that might have had a factor. But it was angry and vicious, and it was a weird experience for sure.
So 4-3 going into week 8 on the road now. This time in Kansas City, a Sunday night football game. Their last game before the bye. You think, okay, you're this game
no
at the
good
halfway point of the
Chiefs.
season. You can carry that momentum perhaps into the second half as guys get healthy from the bye week. Well, nothing goes right for the Buffalo Bills. 7 turnovers in Kansas City against the Chiefs.
Get fucking smoked.
To be there on the sideline, and literally everything goes wrong for the Bills.
When you get in a game like
5
that,
points, we put up 5 points.
You're shooting the game, you're kind of like watching all of a sudden. There's a scramble, and it's like, oh my God, really? Did he just lose the ball again? They can't lose it again. It's almost like when you see a great play and there's constantly penalties pulling them back. Same thing. You're like, this is just, it ain't going to happen tonight.
But in the 2 out of these last 3 games now, the Bills have scored 3 points and 5 points.
Ugh.
The offense is clearly not clicking. Yes, they beat Washington, but that is, you can almost call that an outlier. They go into the bye week now. They are 4-4, and the criticisms and the calls for Gregg Williams are starting to percolate. How much is the media involved in
I was one of them.
That fire, and how much
fucking hated him. I hated him as our head coach.
They're only at the halfway point.
One of my most hated head coaches in Buffalo.
The amount of talking that Gregg Williams had done about how smart he was going to be, and it wasn't just Gregg Williams; it was Kevin Gilbride too, and he flapped his gums just as much as Gregg did. So. For all of the talk of all these things we are
now hiring
coaches,
head coach,
and to have it be so obviously bad in important games, that point in the season, that's where it started to build upon itself. I don't know how much we got into it, but you couldn't help but ask, like, you said you're going to do A, and not only is it not A, it's like J.
And he was very defensive about it. He was very defensive. You called out or criticized how the season was going. It was almost like he was thin-skinned about it, and he did not like being taken to task for things going wrong.
Well, the offensive problems
sorry, Greg.
And in fact, during the bye, Tom Donahoe comes out and says he will not fire Gregg Williams during the season. We were going to keep things rolling with Gregg. And Williams' contract expires at the end of this season. We didn't mention this earlier. Williams kind of bet on himself to not renegotiate his contract in the offseason. He wanted to play out the year, have a successful season, and then see that payday come in. But at 4-4, things aren't going well. Then in weeks 10 and 11, The Bills score 6 points in a loss in Dallas, then come home and score 10 points. None of them on offense.
Man.
2 safeties and 2 field goals.
We can't put up
the Bills
points.
lose to a second-year team, the Houston Texans, 12-10. The following week,
it's getting ugly,
the Indianapolis
guys.
Colts come to town. The Bills' defense plays well. The offense finally scores after 12 quarters without a touchdown.
That's
but Edgerrin James
wild.
scores 3 times, has a game-winning touchdown with a minute to go. So now, as they lose this game in Week 12,
Offense went to total shit.
To 4-7. They've lost 4 straight games. I have to imagine every day the discussion is, when will Gregg Williams get fired, and why haven't they fired Gregg Williams yet?
It was the only thing worth talking about at that point. That was one of the first, 4-7 seasons where the conversation in the locker room is A, who's going to be fired, who's not going to be back, and then B, players talking about, well, if we win 5 in a row and 4 or 5 teams quit the league. Yeah. The first 4-7 is always like the number I think about where
the Patriots get food poisoning.
But from the Bills' point of view, 4-7 is like that magic record where you'll still talk about the playoffs, even though no one on either side of the conversation, player or media person, buys the conversation.
They've gone over a month without scoring a touchdown on offense at this point.
God, it's bad.
Really cannot get much worse. But in Week 13, the offense does show some life as the Bills go into the Meadowlands, this time against the New York Giants to win 24-7. But 2 things happened in this game that I think are notable. And we've talked about this before about how player safety has changed its perspective from the early 2000s to now. And it wasn't that long ago, but so much is different about how we discuss injuries. First off, Travis Henry cracks his fibula in this game, still carries the ball 26 times for 113 yards and a score, which I don't know if that's brave or stupid, but it's something. But Drew Bledsoe gets high-load by Strahan and Keith Hamilton, an obvious concussion. And the Bills allow him to finish the drive out. What was the thought then?
Get out there, Drew. You're fine.
Feeling totally different.
It's funny. I noticed in the
Man up, Drew.
Earlier in the season.
Mark Hamill gets lit up in that one.
Campbell got lit up.
Oh, yeah.
And he came right off. Leftwich got high load in that game too. And he started walking to the wrong sideline. And his players had to pull him back into the huddle. He stayed in. I mean, stuff like that, you would never
different time, guys.
A player
different
time
time
on the field after something like that.
You can't say it enough. In that time, concussions were not a big. Someone got a concussion. Oh, good, that's fine. Like if you had him, from a fantasy owner point of view, a guy gets hurt, goes out. If you hear broken leg, terrible. If you hear dislocated, whatever, terrible. You hear concussion, concussion, no big deal. Good, he's fine. He's coming back next week.
Comes the smelling salt.
Bledsoe even
Get him back
says,
in that game.
When I got up, everything was yellow. Like the red flags are all over the place.
No one thought anything of it. It was just
he got his bell rung.
Exactly.
He got his bell rung.
Exactly the term.
And on the broadcast, they even say, "Well, that's just a football play." Like, oh, it's unfortunate, but that's just a football play. And we cover a lot of high school games for work. The idea of just watching that, it almost makes watching football, you're kind of like, what are we doing? You're like, well, how? We
thought it was funny. He said everything went yellow. That's laughable then. That's
you read that quote.
You have the quote down still.
Yeah.
So that's right.
It's just, it's really perplexing just how dangerous football was at that time. And it wasn't really until the NFL was dragged into caring that they actually did anything.
None of us who covered it on a day-to-day basis really realized it. It just that was a joke. It was funny. It was something that was part of the game.
I got a little ding. You got a little ding last week and then got smacked again. So
Week 14, Travis Henry playing with that cracked fibula. Career high 169 yards. Still playing hard for Gregg Williams as the Bills win 17-6 over the Jets. Week 15, the Bills go to Tennessee, obviously the site of the Music City Miracle. I believe their first game back since then. But the day before, Saddam Hussein is captured. And, this is 2003, so the Iraq War had started earlier that year. But and we've touched on this obviously with 9/11, and these are very different circumstances. But to be covering a football game with a massive national news event happening at the same time,
that was a big.
What is your focus like in that
big
moment?
story at that time? Yeah.
The announcement that was my game, and the announcement come out the night before, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't breaking news, but the president did speak in the morning before the games happened, and then I have a shot of, I think, Justin Bannon looking up at the scoreboard. He's supposed to be getting ready, and he's not doing any stretches or drills or anything. He's just watching the president talk. And it was, another reminder of real life, kind of overshadowing a football game. But, that wasn't the same thing as 9/11. I compare it to more when Osama bin Laden was captured. People noted it, and it was a good thing, but you watched the news and you went back to what you were doing. That's kind of how that day went. It was pregame. You kept an eye on it. It was interesting. But then 1 o'clock came and you played the game.
Bills lose that game in Tennessee to the Titans. The score there, 28-26. Bills officially eliminated from postseason contention, even with some late wins. The thing that I noticed from watching that is
bad.
Gregg Williams on the field after the game. And I know, Thad, you were down there in Nashville, shaking hands with his old players from when he was with the Titans. I think at that point he knew that, the axe is going to be chopping soon and it's going to be my head on the block.
That, like you said, that game knocked them out of the playoffs. That was their last gasp game. I think we went into that game thinking that there were legit to semi-reasonable playoff chances. The Bills were 6-7 at that point, something like that.
6-8.
6-8. But after they were 6-7.
Yeah, 6-8. Yeah, 6-7 going in. 6-8
and they didn't play well, but they were in the game. Scored a touchdown with 15 seconds to go to get within 2. And that was the old Bobby Shaw. He's down on the ground, makes the catch, and puts the ball for the 2-point conversion. Puts the ball in the air to show the official, and then it comes out. And I was right behind him. And I remember he talked about, I just wanted to show the official the ball. At the time, I remember thinking it looked incomplete. Yeah. And I know when he said what he said, you look back at it later.
You can see both sides.
Exactly.
Yeah. So week 16, the Bills host the Miami Dolphins. Bills lose this game 20-3, and it's pretty clear they've obviously given up on the rest of the season.
So
Bledsoe sacked 6 times. But Reuben Brown, after the game, tells Jamie Nails, his former teammate with the Bills.
Y'all remember this?
That's it, dog. That's it. Ain't no more. What's that? I ain't back. You come back up with that stop.
Who shot that, and what was the immediate aftermath of that?
Reuben Brown saying he's done.
That's pretty sure you.
That's it, bro.
As the players walk off the field, one thing we do all the time is we get video of them coming off for various reasons. Sometimes they get excited about wins and they'll celebrate with you. You want to see the two coaches shaking hands. And I always get a kick out of seeing, what players know each other, who talks to who. What's the conversation like? It's always every single time it's the same thing, but I still am interested.
Players fed up, man.
The guys say, "Hey, good to see you. Good luck." After they've been killing each other for
they're
6
done.
minutes,
I don't blame them.
Bosom buddies.
You blame them?
How's the family?
Yeah.
And it was Reuben Brown and Jamie Nails, and this was your video of Reuben going off the field. Occasionally, this happens, not a lot, but you catch a guy saying something that he doesn't realize there's a microphone there, and it becomes a news story. And it did that day.
It did, and it was one of those. You just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and you get it, and you're like, it is kind of one of those. Did I just hear that right?
Yeah, we had to play it 3 or 4 times.
We were playing it back before the press conferences start going. I think I just got ruined. So it's done.
Well, we didn't really talk about it. We had it, and then we went back to the station and really looked at it. And that's when there really wasn't viral stuff then, but it kind of did catch fire. We had stations. We had Buffalo News called us to say, is this what he said? I think we played it out for someone in Buffalo.
We did over the phone.
Yeah, we played the video as loud as we could in the office. And does this sound like what we think it sounds? Oh yeah, it sounds like that. And then every news story was WRLC video had this or that. So that was the first experience with, what we now know as, a viral video or something that just catches fire, across different media outlets.
Yeah, I know you and I, we've both had video that have blown up over the last couple of years. And that's kind of the mindset that you have is like, okay, I have this thing and it's sitting on a little SD card. And I think people really need to see this. So you kind of tell some people, but then you make sure that you have it. You make sure it's what you think it is. Because the last thing you want to do is, send out all these messages like, hey, I've got all this great stuff. Then you play it back and like, oh, wait, no, it's not that good. You don't want to do the boy who called wolf kind of thing.
Especially then, because Reuben Brown was saying he wants to leave the Bills, which was unheard of in general, from a guy like Reuben Brown, who was a mainstay in that team.
So Reuben Brown tells this to Jamie Nails. That blows up the following week, the final game of the regular season, this time in Foxborough. Before the game, it was announced that this would be Van Miller's final game. Your interactions with Van, obviously a legend with the Bills, had been with them since their entire history. And I know I've seen pictures of it, of members of the media going out to dinner with Van the night before his final game. Just your thoughts and experiences with Van Miller.
I mean, they called him Uncle Van. That's what he was. He was everybody's uncle. He was just
long time
a wisecracking, just lovable guy. He was what you heard in the booth and everything, and that was him. He was just the genuine article.
And going to that dinner was one of the great honors of my career covering the Bills. It was basically everyone who went on the road, and most stations sent someone there. Dave and I were both at that game, and to be able to share what was the last weekend evening of such a fantastic career as a broadcaster, and Van was, like Dave said, even in that night, he was Uncle Van, throwing out jokes. There weren't
table.
So yeah, exactly. There weren't tears. It was just laughter and fun. And to say that I was at that dinner and at that moment, again, it's something I'll always remember and treasure.
Okay, 31-0. This is Van Miller with John Murphy.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was, Scott.
Fastening my seatbelt and turning it over to Murph. Have a happy New Year, everyone. This is the Buffalo Bills Football Network.
You know, working in the media, you spend a lot of time with these people, sometimes more than you spend with your actual family. So you get to know them pretty well, and you get to crack jokes that may be a bit blue. But any specific stories that you can share about Van Miller and your time and your interactions with him over the years? Yeah, no, that's the thing. Is you feel like, oh man, we have some great stuff. But
this is a PG podcast.
Yeah, no, right. Getting back to how the Bills did in that Week 17 game. In a word, not well.
No.
It did not go well for the Bills. Tom Brady throws 4 touchdowns in the first half.
Jesus.
They get their revenge for that 31-0 loss with a 31-0 win in Week 17, and just being there as like,
so
that's
bad.
the perfect bookend of this season.
Yeah, the thing I remember from that game is that it was a Saturday game, so there was no other games going on. So as you're watching the Bills get demolished, and the game was 24-0 at halftime.
24-0 at halftime.
So the only thing of interest the entire second half was thinking, are they going to do 31-0 like the other 31? Because there was no other scores to keep track of. Yeah. If you know fantasy, there's no other players to watch.
Playoff implications.
Yeah, the game. Yeah. Right, exactly. Everything was. You're just sitting there like, can the season end anytime soon? And you know, you're thinking about, all right, we're going to go into an off season where the coach is going to be fired. We both got we got shots of Romeo Crennel and every coordinator
coming down the tunnel. We have more. I have no idea who some of these guys are.
But the Patriots coordinators, we had Bills coaches. You didn't know who's going to get fired, who's going to stay. So you want to make sure you have video of everybody. Yeah, that was the goal for that day, was to have video ready for the upcoming coaching change.
So ESPN's Len Pasquarello was the first report after the Tennessee loss that Gregg Williams will be fired after the season or not had his contract renewed. At this point, obviously, as you know, that axe is coming. It's just a matter of time. What was kind of the mindset as, you know, someone's coming back from New England while another guy's going to Buffalo? Well, how did you attack knowing that a firing was imminent with Gregg Williams?
I think we did. Let's see. With a Saturday game, I don't think the Bills cleaned up their locker till Monday.
They cleaned it out. They cleaned it out the next day. They cleaned it out Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We must have tailed it back as fast as possible so someone will be up there in Buffalo on Sunday.
I think it was you. I don't remember ever.
I was a little man on the total pole.
Well, I don't remember doing a locker.
Cleaning out the lockers for another shit season.
A lot of video of guys putting helmets
in
the bags and stuff, and it was always right after the season. But it was just a matter of waiting for the expected to happen. There was no drama. You know, it was going to happen. It's just a matter of when and how.
Was there any drama with Ruben Brown? Because he did not play in that Patriots game, and the Bills sent him home. He was not suspended, but there were rumors he was suspended. Was there any Ruben? His locker is not even cleaned out on locker cleanup.
Interesting, right? Didn't even play that game.
The thought that, you know, okay, this is probably the last time we've seen Ruben Brown in a Bills jersey.
I don't know if we ever thought that, because it was Ruben Brown. He wasn't going to leave. He was a Bill. You know, and their offensive line wasn't great to begin with. So that was not a position where, we have all these.
Williams is getting fired, so who cares?
So that's the other part of it, too. You know, Ruben Brown was a big story, but he was story B by far until whatever happened with Gregg Williams happened.
Monday, December 23rd, the Bills announced they will not retain Gregg Williams. Obviously,
there you go.
Not a surprise to anybody that's followed this team, but just the immediate reaction to, all right, we've cut our losses. Gregg Williams is out after 3 years where he went and combined 17 and 31.
The weirdest part of that is that
terrible head coach,
which you never see from a fired coach.
I mean, really ugly sweater.
Oh, terrible sweater.
I remember this.
The firing before he had a press conference. Now this was after the stuff happened a week later. But he also had a press conference in an awful sweater.
Y'all remember this?
So it was almost like the Bills, that was their cloak of sadness. When you put the sweater on, that means you're going.
I can see, you know, why the rich tradition of the Buffalo Bills is what it is. You know, the Buffalo Bills fans are tremendous fans. They're well known throughout the country. And I've said this before, even on my summer trip that I took this past summer when I went to Alaska. I get off the plane and people are pounding me, Buffalo Bills fans, you know, in Anchorage, Alaska, which is amazing.
But like Rex Ryan this year, he gets fired, and there's video of him that WRC had of his truck being driven out of One Bills Drive, and that's the last we saw of him. No press conference, no public comments. Yeah. He was on TV a week later.
He was on the sideline at some bowl games.
But no one talked to him. Gregg Williams marches out in front of all the cameras at One Bills Drive to hold up. They even hosted it at the team facility, and he was fired. So that was the most surreal part of that.
Really? That was? Because what about Mr. Donahoe?
Also would like to apologize to Gregg. I think some of the personal criticisms that were leveled at him were unfair. And I think there's many people in Western New York should be ashamed of themselves.
Oof.
for some of the
Wow.
things they said about the coach.
I guess I'm one
You
of
don't
them.
have to like a coach's ability to coach, but some of the personal attacks that I've heard over the last 3 years embarrasses me to be part of this community.
Oh, Donahoe, I remember
It's
that.
unbelievable.
People were
Tom
pissed.
Donahoe ripping the fans of the Buffalo Bills and those
Fans
in Western New
were
York for
pissed
being rough on
that he
Gregg
said
Williams. Just imagine, we've talked about surreal press conferences before. I think this one throughout the length.
Then they made
of
him
the
come
Bills
back
playoff
and
drought has to be up at
apologize,
the
if
very
you guys
top.
remember, which I'm sure they're going to
There
show
was
here, which
talk
I think they
before Gregg
do.
got fired that the
Because it was
negative
bad,
attention and the
bad.
criticism he and by extension his family had received
PR,
from Tom
like bad.
was a
They
part
had
of the
they
reason
had
why things
to
weren't going well. And
they had to
whether or
talk
not
to
that was
Donahoe
true,
and
who
tell him
knows?
you better
It's,
get back out
the
there
football
and
team, people get excited,
you better
overexcited about it.
you
Now,
better
but
apologize.
when Tom Donahoe basically called out the city of Buffalo for the way they had treated Gregg, everyone in the media room, I mean, we immediately knew, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not how you would approach this as someone who still wants to be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you want to tell the story?
No,
now?
I mean, you
Okay.
guys lived it. Just walk me through that afternoon.
So he says that everyone thinks it's terrible. We all file our reports. We're driving back to Rochester. At some point on the drive, I think we just heard it on the radio, Tom Donahoe's going to hold the press conference. So immediately turn it around.
See,
get back.
I think the owner, I think Ralph,
I think we found
and maybe a few other people maybe told him,
What's the statute of limitations?
you better get back out there
Total rules were not
and
followed that day.
You know, after
Talk
I had
again.
a chance to look at the transcript of the press conference and look at the tape, obviously some things that I said were misinterpreted. In no way was I trying to be critical of the fans and the support that we have received here in Western New York. I have great respect for the fans. I really was trying to be critical of some media types and some talk show hosts who I felt at times have crossed the line in their criticism of Gregg Williams. And they've made it personal. That's what I didn't like, and that's what I'm embarrassed about. And I really don't think there's any place for that. We all should be criticized when we don't do our jobs, whether it's coaches, whether it's personnel, whether it's GM, president of the organization, whatever it is. But I just don't think there's any place for getting personal. And I apologize that the remarks were misinterpreted, and I apologize to our fans if I've offended any of them.
Tom Donahoe's initial press conference was up at the podium, prim and proper. Everyone had a place. He had his everything was done. When he comes back out, it was just kind of him standing there. Tie was halfway undone, like we had pulled him out of like a lounge.
what's wild is they sent that motherfucker right back out shortly after the initial press conference to apologize. Like, they could have done it he could have written a letter. You know, sometimes they do that, like a letter to the fans, apologize. Nope, they marched his ass right back out there to apologize, basically, which is wild.
Some busy meeting or something.
And he looked cowed for the first time in his career. He looked cowed. He looked humble. He looked sorry, which he needed to be, because what he said was terrible. And he basically said, I didn't mean to say it that way. I mean, he struck all the correct notes, but by then the damage had been
the damage is done.
Were you there at all for that? Or were you back here? I mean,
you fucked up. You fucked up.
So if you're sitting back here at the station just hitting refresh on the computer, like, what is happening to the Buffalo Bills? What is happening with Tom Donahoe?
Cloud over one Bills drive was about it at that point.
Man, I can only imagine what that must have been like. But that puts an end on 2003. Just final thoughts from a season that started off so well and ended so poorly, going 6-10. Travis Henry has a strong year, but Bledsoe, it seems like the decline is starting pretty rapidly with him. Just a final word on the 03 season with the Bills.
It wasn't the quarterback. It was, Tom Donahoe in that press conference soured everybody going forward. I don't almost think it didn't matter who he was going to pick as his coach. Unless he hired Vince Lombardi, Tom Donahoe's stink as the GM of the Bills was unremovable after that press conference. And, we talked about who the coach would be and who the players would be, et cetera, et cetera. Donahoe, first of all, he was not well liked in the organization. He was a micromanager. So, you're not going to get anybody behind the scenes that are going to say nice things about him. And then for him to come out and basically smack Buffalo, nobody was a Donahoe fan at that point. And where they were going to go with this as your figurehead leader was a big mystery.
Yeah, I'm going on the field stuff. I think you look at that defense and some of the talent that they had on the defensive side of that ball was phenomenal.
Yeah, they
Second-ranked
did.
defense in
That's
2003.
You had Sam Adams and Pat Williams up front. I mean, good
Fletcher,
luck moving those guys.
yeah,
Might have been a better combo in a long time.
Fletcher and Spikes at linebacker. I mean, that was
Winfield was the safety.
Yeah.
Lawyer Malloy. I mean, they
Nate
were.
Clements
They had,
was
Clements,
coming up big at times. I mean, it was a good. The defensive unit that year was one of the most entertaining, I think, that I saw.
30th ranked offense, second ranked defense.
How the
Bills 6 and
offense
10
just
in
went to shit
2003.
from
They now have to
2002
hire another
2003.
head
It's
coach,
amazing.
their second head coach of the Bills playoff drought. And to that, we turn to the next episode of Down and Drought.
All right. So that was that was the 2003 season. I do got highlights. You guys are you guys interested in watching highlights for the 2003 Buffalo Bills? I figured why not, right? Why not share this with you, even though a lot of it's bad, but why not, right? We have time here. Figured we do it. It's here we go. Why not?
And here we go. They say they hadn't been this excited about opening day in a long time. Why? Lawyer Malloy introduced West with the defense.
At safety from Washington, number 36, Lawyer Malloy.
He's
There you
one of
go.
them now, as Bill Belichick knows what kind of player he is, but maybe he didn't anticipate it would be this bad this soon.
Man, where's the right
Larry
one I had
Sanders,
earlier?
The former Bill, Takeo Spikes, one of the new defenders brought in by the Buffalo Bills, blows up the play. Then Buffalo scoring an 80-yard drive early. Bledsoe to Dave Moore, 90-yard drive.
Sorry, guys. I
Touchdown
had
through 17 of 28, 14-0 Bills
There we
against
go.
Belichick in the pass. Then Tom Brady, Troy Brown, nailed by Spikes.
Yeah, get him, Shaquille.
Crowd in a frenzy. Still 14-0. Another new addition.
Oh, I got Sam Adams.
Sam Adams.
Go.
Rolling,
Go.
stumbling. Touchdown. Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Wings. It's a touchdown, Bills.
Woo.
Great job of swarming defense by the Bills. And look at Sam Adams. Got a little flavor.
Oh,
Moves
man.
well for a big
He
man.
moves. He's his second touchdown. He's had many a return, a fumble, scoop up, and interception.
Oh,
return.
Drew
This
going
is second
deep.
TD. Then, guess who's back?
I mean, Tom
Lawyer
going
Malloy
deep. Nope.
Off of his hands and helmet into the hands of Nate Clements. You couldn't script it better if you were Lawyer Malloy. And then Tommy
Oh, man.
Malloy.
Yeah, working here.
Oh, this is it. Yeah,
Christian
got a
Warrior.
sack here on Tom.
Great job giving him the hands, getting inside of him. And boy, did he get on top of the quarterback quick.
Dude, they had me fooled so bad the first 2 weeks, man, the Buffalo Bills.
As he has on the team,
I
Tom
thought,
Brady.
man, maybe we had something brewing
Maybe
here.
not today, during these 3 hours. Brady, under pressure.
Oh, Brady
this time
back to
it's
throw.
Spikes. Oh, look at that. The ball just floated into Spikes' hand. And now with a 28-0 score.
Get him. Get him.
It's not his day.
Yeah.
4 times his worst in the interception department ever. It's Spikes again. Crowd in a frenzy.
Takeo.
Spikes, Malloy, Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Patriots had beaten the Bills 5 straight times, but not today.
Take care of those no good Patriots.
Dice, slice, and otherwise nice if you're a Buffalo fan. 31 to nothing. As the Bills get Malloy with an interception, a sack, 5 tackles.
Yeah, look at that. Things are going good here in 2003.
Buffalo Bills, boy, it was hot on the field. Over 100 degrees in
Let's get those Jaguars.
On the field it was.
Look at Drew.
Bledsoe was just as hot. Look at Mark Campbell.
Oh,
Take
man,
that
he took a hit,
Keep
boy.
on ticking. Rasheed Mathis on the hit, Tom. Yikes. He was
Yeah,
okay.
that's a great one-hand.
Now,
grab.
that would have
Great
been a
job
penalty
holding
today.
on
I
to the
don't
football,
think
but
there's a
Drew
penalty
put
there,
it
but
where he
man,
wants
he got
if you give him time to
frickin'
throw the football.
nailed.
And with 7-0 Bills the first quarter, Bledsoe to Josh Reed, 24 yards.
Josh Reed, man, he was good. I liked him.
The Jags
Slot,
42
the slot
Bledsoe.
receiver we had
Look
at
him
that time.
Drop it in there to Eric.
Oh,
He can still throw it hard. He can drop it in.
Get it,
And then
Travis.
Close to the goal line, it's Travis Henry, who had 3 touchdowns on the day. Didn't have a big rushing day because it was Bledsoe's day. 14-0 Bills, and they play defense too to the chagrin of
Look
Jack
at
Del
us.
Rio.
2-0 to start the season. Take
Watch
care
him
of
start right
business.
there in the backfield in the deep set. We're used to seeing him there. Great job defensively by the Bills. Much improved defense stopping the run. Here, Fred Taylor back outside, slot double wing open is what we
Looking at
call
these
this.
old highlights,
Ball designed
man.
to go to him. Great job.
Like I said, guys, there's so many players that went through Buffalo in the drought years. I love, man. Some of my favorite players, man.
14-7 Bills, Bledsoe to Bobby Shaw.
Bobby
The
Shaw.
Bobby Shaw redemption. 54 yards, 21-7. Buffalo.
And we talk about a pocket. Just watch here, the beautiful pocket, no pressure on
Yep.
Drew. He's able to step
Stepping
up,
up.
step into
Yep.
his throw, and put it again exactly where he wants.
Look
Got
at
him.
that throw.
Got him.
To Eric Mold's 36 yards. And the Bills go on
Look
to
at us
slice
taking care of
the
business.
Jaguars.
2-0,
An
baby.
emotional win at
Blowing
home.
teams
They go
up.
on the road to a non-division foe.
Yeah.
38-17. Bledsoe 19.
Oh, and here comes the losses.
14, 7 of them.
Yeah, and an outstanding job by that offensive line because you see Travis Henry's
Losses are
numbers, 21
coming
carries
now,
for
boy.
26 yards. Yes, the 21 carries.
They fooled
for
us.
26 yards were.
Bills going for their first 3-0 start since 91.
Of course, we lose against the Dolphins.
89.
Ah.
Bledsoe and the Bills have been dominant in their 2 wins so far this season.
This is when the
First quarter,
Dolphins
Bledsoe's
shared
pass,
the field with the
as you can see,
Marlins at the
Bledsoe,
time.
Pretty blatant as to exactly where he's going. And
Oh,
Sam
come on,
able to
man.
pick up
Staring
on
down
Bledsoe's
his receiver
stare,
the whole time.
And on Bledsoe's pass to Eric Moulton,
Can't do that.
there for the pick. Still scoreless in the second quarter. Little Bills trickery. Hand off
Ah.
to Travis Henry. Throws it towards the end
That's
zone.
terrible.
Through it. Picked off by Patrick
Terrible
Surtain.
throw.
Second interception of the game. Later in the second, Bills driving again. Bledsoe going for Knowles in the end zone.
No.
That is picked off by Brock
No,
Marion.
Drew, what are you
Take a
doing?
look.
No, Drew.
Staring the whole way.
Why are you staring
There's no
down?
Check off there.
Oh,
Fourth quarter, it's 10.
there we go.
The theme continues. Jay Fiedler underthrows.
Sorry
Nate
ass Jay
Clemens,
Fiedler.
intercepts it, takes it 54
There we go,
yards,
Nate.
And the Bills are on the board. His second pick of the game. Ricky Williams had
Oh,
himself a ball game.
Ricky
That's good.
always
21
killed
yards.
us. He always shredded
Williams
us.
had 42 carries, a franchise high, 4th most in NFL history.
Always shredded us,
It's
man.
ruled a touchdown there. Dolphins win.
Look at that. Only points we got were on the
Hoover's
defense.
out in Philly.
Going against the
Started by
Eagles.
The Eagles, then a bye. This is Sam Dana. The 100 is yes. He's the oldest living player that stayed in the NFL. He played with the 1928 New York Yankees. That's Donovan McNabb, who feels like the oldest living player.
Donovan
He's been moving
McNabb.
to Philly lately, but
Yeah.
they come out well against the Buffalo Bills, and he came out a new man.
Good throw.
Winston against cover 2. You see him get the one-on-one coverage at the line of scrimmage. Great job and great touch by Donovan McNabb.
On the same drive, well, this you know what he can do.
Oh, come
And
on.
He's having fun doing it, Tom. There's so many times the West
Oh.
Coast, not the West, not
No.
it's like you said this morning, when they script the first 15, 20 plays, they look the best. Corral General Bachhofer into the end zone. Trink, you're an idiot. Eagles lead the Bills 7-0.
And again, Donovan McNabb going to see the same coverage, corner up. This is cover 2. Safety going to be coming over again. Great touch.
Good
Sneaks
throw.
it in just before the safety can get over there. Receiver James Thrash, nice outside relief. Good play, good toss and catch.
Can't do much
Quarterback,
on
wide
that.
Receiver.
13-0 Eagles.
Come
at
on,
the
Drew,
half.
what do you got?
16-0 fourth quarter. Drew Bledsoe because of
Oh, little
Henry's out of
screen?
Morris.
All right.
So they got no running.
Come on,
game. They dump
Travis.
to Joe Burns. Really is the running back, at least at
Oh,
this
it's
moment.
Burns?
Gets a
Okay, yeah,
first down.
duh.
4th
Burns.
and goal from the 3. Here comes Buffalo.
Little
Bledsoe,
rollout
look at
there.
Bledsoe on the move to Bobby Shaw. They go for 2, don't make it. It's
Ah.
16-6. Bills ball again.
There we go.
So now all of a sudden, after being dormant for
All right, now we
two
moving.
straight games on offense.
Now we moving.
Moulds 23 yards. And 4th and goal from the 1. Bledsoe touchdown. Extra point good. 16-13.
All right. All right, here we go.
2.5 to go. McNabb, not a big pocket, but he
Ah.
stayed in there to thread.
Man.
Great job of hanging in the pocket, not having the nervous feet, and making the kind of play you need to make.
And then here it is, trying to run out the clock. They do better than back. Brian
No.
West from Villanova could go
No.
all the way.
I mean, we're still having that happen against us today.
62-yard John salts it away.
Running backs
And
are
the
still
Eagles
doing
lead,
that
and
to
they
our-
had
to our defense.
Buffalo, after that great start, is now back to earth.
Things haven't changed.
Philadelphia wins it by
Hopefully
the
they
count of
change this year.
23-13. And look, Bengals. Marvin Lewis got his first win last
Oh,
week.
Tequila
Buffalo Bills
against
looking for their
the
first
team.
win in a couple of weeks. Tequila Spikes
Get him,
playing against
Tequila.
his old team for the first time. First quarter, here's Spikes bringing down Brandon Bennett. Corey Dillon didn't make the trip. 6-yard loss. Spikes fired up. Trying for the punting team later. Scary moment in the third quarter. Former Buffalo Bill Jeff Burris injured after hitting Sam Gash. He was down on the field, attended to for a long time, but X-rays negative on his neck injury. He's okay, and that's
There
very,
you go.
very, very good news. Drew Bledsoe, screen in a 6-6 game to Travis Henry.
There you go.
Who was determined an hour before the game would play, and he played well. 13-6 Buffalo. Rudy Johnson.
Rudy Johnson.
Into the end zone.
Forgot about that guy.
16 yards, and we're tied at 13. Letting it all go tonight, Tom. Why not? with the score 16-13 in the
All right,
fourth
Drew,
quarter.
what you
4-3 Bills. Eric Mold.
There you go.
Makes the first down and then some. 19 yards, Tom, and despite the good coverage.
Well, Torrey James going to be in coverage. He's up in coverage, but he doesn't do anything. Right there, tries to get a little hand on him. Mold's a great job coming back to the football. Big receiver, and then blows by Torrey James. Boy, James looked a little slow right there.
Well, Mold's one of the best in the game. Ryan Lindell.
That's right.
31
That's
seconds to
right.
go. Good. 29 field goal. Good. We go to
Ryan
overtime.
Lindell.
Bengals win the toss, 3 and out. Now it's Buffalo. Remember the overtime mastery of Bledsoe and the Bills last year? Bledsoe holds 28 yards.
Hell of a
Now Buffalo
catch.
Business. And instead of kicking at this point on second and goal, Henry into the end zone. And Buffalo.
That's game.
Pretty sluggish at times. As Bledsoe barely got over 200 yards. And the coaches shaking hands afterwards. It was Molds who hurt his groin at the end of the game. And the Bills win it by the count of 22-16 with most of their games in the next month on the road. A pivotal win for Buffalo, getting back on the winning track. And Cincy, when they lose, they're close.
Well, and certainly they miss Corey Dillon. This is their team playing better football, but they miss Corey Dillon. He may be their best player.
It didn't look like late December up there. I know it was
great,
like dark.
Peter Warwick.
It's coming.
With the Patrick Warwick.
Back to the action we go. Late games. Bills at Jets. Bills look good first 2 games of the year. The
Nah,
Jets
I didn't buy Madden.
come off a bye. Vinny Testaverde, and the Jets figured.
Hey, Vinny Testaverde over here.
Testaverde, Anthony Beck, 2-yard score. And Vinny Testaverde has passed Joe Montana, not Joe Montana, Joe Montana for 7th in all-time passing yards. For Drew Bledsoe, what's going on with this offense, Tom?
Well, you look there. There's a snap over Drew Bledsoe's head. That ball going to be recovered by the Jets. Dwayne Robertson going to be up the middle. There's another sack on a 4-man rush, and then Sam Cowart finally. You get the picture here, boom. A long, long day for Drew Bledsoe.
Not playing, and Henry back there. They haven't run the ball. Santana Moss
from the youth.
Lost Morton, but Santana Moss was the guy they feel they can give him that spark. Part of the reason they let him go, and he does get the spark.
Boy.
Moss is going to return this 47 yards all the way to the Buffalo 18. Do I have to say it, Tom? Bills special teams. Next play for the Jets, Testaverde. To Beck. That's a pretty combo.
How you let him get wide open like
Jets,
that?
First couple of minutes of the third quarter lead 20-3. More Vinny, and this is Moss. The little pitch out. Vinny and the Jets shake, rattle, and roll.
You got 3 points. Put up 3 points.
Herm Edwards' team winning for the first
Terrible.
time this year. And
The offense is just falling apart at this point.
Seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
And give
falling
the Jets
apart.
a lot of credit for showing some resiliency, boy. You know, you're 0-4, things are going bad. To come out and play with this kind of enthusiasm.
We started off the season with such high hopes.
7 sacks.
2-0, feeling good. And then everything just goes to shit.
196.5
Bruce.
sacks back in Buffalo. He played for the Bills for 15 years. Family there. Fans there. He never got to say goodbye. And he was really looking forward to this. Jim Kelly, so many of his teammates on hand because Coach Levy, Scotty Bertstold there, they're honoring Darryl Talley.
This one we win.
At halftime. Oh, by the way, the game. Bruce Smith was around Drew Bledsoe, who he sacked more than anyone else except Ken O'Brien in his career.
Did a great job of pressuring football, just couldn't get the sacks that he wanted today.
Bledsoe to Josh Reed, 12 yards. And with that, Jim was on hand to watch Drew Bledsoe pass him and the 12th for the all-time career passing list. And here's
look at Bruce.
Was gonna be
You just missed
you see
Bruce.
Jump inside. Just good movement by Drew Bledsoe to leave
that was
outside
good.
that sack and deliver the football downfield.
Sidestepped him.
Sportsmanship and respect between the two. And here's more Bruce, Tom.
Yeah, Bruce Smith again with his patented move.
Bruce! He almost had him.
Drew Bledsoe again, great job of stepping up.
Look at him. Look at Bruce at that. His age.
He goes by.
Still wrecking havoc.
That was before, yeah.
It was by that, but there's the family again.
Still doing his thing on the field.
Bruce right there.
Bruce was the man, guys. The man.
Darryl Talley.
There's
name goes up at
Talley.
Bills teams, 4 straight Super Bowls, so they're all on hand as Talley is honored. Meanwhile, the game. Bills lead 10-0 in the third quarter. Patrick Ramsey to Rod Gardner, 25 yards. And it's a 10-7 game. Now the third.
Travis
Henry cuts it back.
Get
Look
it.
at Bledsoe. With a
look at Drew with the block.
Big game for Henry. The Bills have looked sluggish, to say the least, lately. The running game had gone south, but Henry with 21 yards. Then play action from Bledsoe, and then Josh Reed. Wide
There you
open.
go.
And it's fitting with Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly and Darryl Talley are there. Then a guy named Reed catches the
Travis
pass
again.
Buffalo, Tom. And here's
Yeah,
Henry.
good run.
6-yard run for Travis Henry. And then the Bills field the running game.
There we
This
go.
is exactly what's been missing from this offense, their ability to run, because that helps to protect Drew Bledsoe.
There we
You
go.
can see when Travis Henry gets going, he can rip off those 7, 8, 9-yard runs at one time. Here, he great patience around the corner.
Good move.
Through,
There we
and
go.
gets himself into the end zone. Boom.
Tell you guys, man, Travis Henry was damn good, man.
Tommy ran for 196 yards as a team. Meanwhile, Ramsey is drilled. He's hurt.
Oh, here comes Rob Johnson.
Buffalo Bill Rob Johnson checks in. Guess what's going to happen?
Get him!
A sack. Aaron Schobel does the job. So Bruce Smith back in Buffalo for his team, not what he'd hoped. For his old team, exactly what they hoped. The Bills back over the 500 mark. The Skins back under it as Buffalo wins 24-7.
That's back when they were the Redskins. Watch the Redskins.
The Bills had over 400 yards in offense. This looked like the team that they began the season as, with 2 big wins.
All right, 4-3. We're still, we still have a chance here.
I think you have to protect the quarterback. By
No, we know.
more, but
We
that's
only
just
get 2
my
more
secret
wins.
from the old ball club.
Rest of the way, but
Chiefs trying to remain the
Yeah.
NFL's only undefeated.
Oh, here's
hosting
where we get
Buffalo.
totally
Yo, the pain will be
wrecked.
there. Just how? How will Dante Hall hurt the Bills? Punt return.
dude, this
kickoff
dude
return,
was
receiving,
what do they call the
short
human
and do it all.
joystick?
First quarter,
This dude was
Trent Green,
unbelievable.
have some to Dante. 67 yards to the house.
That
11
dude
corner touchdown
was
for Dante.
fast, bro.
He averages 79.8 yards per score, the highest ever in the NFL for anyone with 10 or more touchdowns. All right, Dante's nice. How about Priest?
Priest Holmes. He had his time too in the NFL where he was one of the best. One of the best.
3 rushing touchdowns for Priest Holmes. And watch this. Watch Trent Green, the quarterback.
Trent Green. Didn't he get like a major concussion later on his career?
Touchdowns, Chiefs win.
Man, they killed us.
Buffalo at Dallas. Man, is this a payback? Although hardly anyone's there that remembers. And Drew Bledsoe certainly remembers his
Bill
first
Parcells.
NFL coach with the
Yep.
Patriots. That would be Bill Parcells. Bledsoe, 2
Man, Drew could not. He was.
We've seen this before.
He was not mobile, boy.
Roy Glover.
He was good at moving around in the pocket, but man,
Yeah, and you watch the
he
back,
just was
they
not
go out
mobile.
the
He
backfield, so
he
it's
wasn't
never
going
a
anywhere,
possession.
man.
Bledsoe pocket collapses on him. He gets hit. He's trying to fight it. Ball out.
Then
He winds up playing for Dallas actually a couple years after this.
Scored 7-3 in the second. Cowboys blitz. Al Singleton
Oh,
never had a
jeez.
chance. Later in the drive.
Poor
Another one
Drew.
coming again. You know that. You
Get
know
out
that.
of there,
Bledsoe
Drew.
just gets rid of it. Well, don't miss you what
Oh, man.
Yeah, you know, people are going to come after him, and you can see they get in a position to blitz. This is that win. And
out.
they're going to be coming off
Get
the
out,
edge.
Drew.
And Drew just doesn't have a
Yeah,
chance
Drew's
to
just
spot
getting
anybody who can
killed,
get rid of
man.
the football. And here they come again. You just look at the numbers.
Oh,
They're
no.
bringing more people than you can block, forcing you to get rid of the football, and you have no idea where. He's talking to Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, right there.
Get out of there, Drew.
Third quarter, he stepped up his Bledsoe. But it's
Oh,
a
he fumbled.
fumble.
Oh,
So
come on,
it's
man.
ours. It is. I didn't realize he was an official, too. It is. Fourth quarter.
Oh,
2:13 to
guys.
go. 3rd and 2 for Dallas. They faked the trickery. Adrian Morrell just brought back a couple weeks ago, first down. Then Morrell, 5 yards up the middle. 3rd and 8. Morrell, look at the hole
Oh.
left tackle. 17 yards. They run the clock down. Morrell at 76 yards.
And that's a wrap, Jack.
Bills offense on the road. I know they were at Kansas City last
Terrible.
time. They got 5.
6
They're
points.
At Dallas, they had 6. They're the Jets. They had
Come on, what's
3.
going on with the
Cowboys
offense?
Are 7-2 as they beat the Bills 10-6. Next stop, Sunday Night Football, ESPN, Bill at Bill. First place Dallas at first place New England. That might be good. And Buffalo, 11 years ago, it was Frank Reich leading Buffalo back.
All right, we got this. We got this,
Oilers in the
Buffalo.
playoffs. They could have used Frank today.
There you go.
On. Jeff Posey.
Oh.
The Bills falling the ball to
Almost got that.
Sent only a
Almost got it.
safety. Jeff Posey drills David Carr. Carr would lead
Jeff
the game
Posey,
with his
man.
right shoulder.
Forgot about him.
Tony Banks in.
Tony
Now
Banks,
5-0.
remember him,
Banks
guys?
to Andre
Oh.
Johnson, the third pick of the
No.
game. Bill circle. No way.
From the U.
Play, Tom. It's
Hall
a
of Famer.
touchdown. 6-5 Texans. Don Capers went for 2. They didn't make it.
Oh, come on,
J.D.
Drew.
Sharper drills Bledsoe. It's a fumble.
Oh,
Or picks
Drew,
it up.
what are you doing?
Play was reviewed.
That's just bad offensive line, though. It's not all on Drew. Oh, God, lose again.
Offensive Buffalo Bills 12-10.
10
points coming on
That's
safeties.
fucking score.
Houston with
has
as many wins as they won all last year.
The defense is actually doing decent.
Continues to impress.
They actually had a good
That's
year
what
that
we
year,
look
the
at,
defense.
The fact that this team
And the
is
offense just
improving on a week-to-week
went to
basis.
shit.
Don Capers the perfect coach for this young football team.
And for the Buffalo Bills, they question him. What happened after a very impressive 2-0 start?
Yeah, what happened?
At Orchard Park, New York, it's always cold at this
Yes.
time of the year. However,
Orchard
70
Park,
degrees.
New York.
Come to Buffalo for the winter. It's
Come on, Buffalo! Come on, no! No!
No, Bills.
There you go!
Brian Mormon.
Get it, Mormon!
Runs 37
Yeah,
yards.
that was
There's the
planned,
play
buddy.
they were looking for.
Well planned.
Yeah. And this team has not scored a touchdown in 3 weeks, but they had 3 safeties. There it is. A
There.
touchdown.
Got one.
To Bledsoe.
We got a touchdown.
Sight.
Woo.
The owner, Ralph Wilson, sight. And
Yes.
the Bills have
Yes.
scored for the first time.
Look at Ralph.
Touchdown in a row.
Yeah, touchdown,
And
baby.
They lead it. Now they lead 14-3 in the fourth. Edgerrin James. Whoop.
Oh, Edgerrin James from the U.
What a run by Edgerrin James. It's 14-9. Colts gamble. Don't get the 2, so it stays
Look
a
at Peyton.
5-point Bills lead.
What are you doing? What are you running,
7
Peyton
minutes
Manning?
to go.
What are you doing?
Peyton
Don't
Manning.
hurt
In
us.
Buffalo, naturally,
Oh.
the Bills fans have to watch another team run the no huddle, Tom. That's Dallas Clark, a great football name for 13
Now, come
yards.
on.
Aaron Moorhead, 18 yards. Then,
Don't do it to us,
36,
Peyton.
Manning. Marvin Harrison playing gimpy, but a first down. Here we go. James, Colts, hoping. They're from the 3. 2.5 minutes to go. James to the
Oh, stop. You stop. Let's see if we can stop him here. No.
We stop. 3rd and goal. James. No, he's got
No, I don't think so.
He's on the 1. Fly.
That's it.
Tony Dungy says we just have a few to go. And Dermot Thomas, they honored him today. He's
Come
in
on,
the
let's
stands.
get this stop.
Come on, defense. And Deirdre, it's a touchdown. And Dermot's going.
So
The
close.
wagon's not circled. James, Manning, they struggle.
So close.
Dungy's Colts are now
Yeah.
9-2 as they beat the Buffalo Bills.
Another loss.
17-14, and then last week the Colts were in a 38-31 game, Tom, but they've won them both different ways.
Yeah,
Oh,
Peyton
man.
Manning, pretty outstanding. Good to see Edgerrin James get back on the right track. And look at those numbers.
Offense
again.
still
Drew
kind of
Bledsoe,
struggling
15,
here.
28, 35 and an INT.
Oh,
Hard to
man.
pick it.
They got Bills, Giants.
All right, come on.
Bills
Let's get
are
those
up 3-0.
Giants.
The Giants
Beat
are up
those
3-0.
Giants.
Both coaches on the hot seat.
Come on,
Drew
Drew.
Bledsoe, headaches, little flu,
Come on.
little concussion problem.
Or back
He
to
says,
throw. Drew
"I'm
back
gonna
to
play."
throw.
And he connects with the tight end Dave more than you can set your watch to it.
Yeah,
Once every 11 weeks,
touchdown.
The Bills score an offensive touchdown on the road.
There you
So
go,
about the
yeah.
Buffalo. Kerry Collins just stumbles, dumb and dumber. The fans kind of sum it up. Boy, turnover city, and then Bledsoe gets hit.
Oh, this is a concussion. Oh, where's the
Personal foul,
flag?
Hamilton.
There it
Bledsoe
is. That's
stays
all right,
in
Drew.
the
Get
game.
on up. You're okay.
And since you're going to score a road touchdown,
You're all right, Drew.
why don't you go for some more? No one circles the touchdowns on the road every 11 weeks. Like the Buffalo Bills. Bledsoe to Eric Mold, 21 yards.
Look at Molds.
Then the Shaw redemption.
Yeah,
Bobby
Shaw. Yeah.
for 18 yards. And then Travis Henry, boy, he runs hard.
Get in there, Travis.
13 yards.
There you
touchdown.
go.
Bledsoe leaves in favor of Van Pelt after that drive. But the Buffalo
Drew's fine.
Bills,
He's fine.
The team with the chin
Yeah.
less down.
We get a
really,
win.
these 2 times.
Woo.
And they beat the Giants by the count of 24-7. Disappointing.
There we
season
go.
for both.
Yeah, disappointing for both.
Get back on the winning
Again,
track.
They're talking a lot about the quarterbacks, but Drew Bledsoe gets the concussion. You can tell he had it. He's so
No
tough. I think we shouldn't
problem.
forget
Concussion.
19-29.
Forget about
and
it.
This is what the Bills
Put
are
me
looking
back.
for offensively.
Get me back out
combined
there.
with Travis Henry.
They have 400 yards, and the Giants at 222. They now have dropped. Gets at the Bills. Both teams won.
All right, come on,
Metal
sorry ass Jets.
The Jets look
Take care of
different
business.
with Chad Pennington, but the Bills
At
look
home.
different.
Come on.
This was their plan all year, Tom.
There it is,
Henry
Travis.
on the ball, and Buffalo leading in the third quarter after that touchdown, 14-3.
There it is. Look at
They
this,
score
dude.
14-6.
Bulldoze them motherfuckers.
14 yards.
Oh!
And then
What a
this is
run.
who runs tough. He played hurt a lot of the year. The line has not had a great year, but he can be like this.
Look at that
When
dude.
he is healthy, you see him run.
Underrated, man. I'm telling you, that dude was a beast, bro.
Once he gets through the line, and that will set up play action pass for them.
And that set up a field goal. Meanwhile, Pennington is picked off.
Oh, we'll take that. We'll take that. McGee.
And Herm not happy on this
One of my favorite players, too. There we go. Beating those no good Jets.
Wagon at a time.
That's what I'm talking about.
15 passing from Drew Bledsoe.
Get out of here, New Jersey.
Travis Henry, 169 yards. Buffalo is the team that's 6-7. They also had 5
Oh,
sacks
man.
in their defense.
Bledsoe did not have a good
And
game.
we said this time
72
of year,
yards.
this morning on countdown.
Yikes.
Now we want that running game.
That's
to
all right.
really
We got
take
the
hold
win, though.
Of our offensive game plan.
And a lot of things. Buffalo Bills to Tennessee for the first time.
Let's take care of Tennessee. We got this.
1999. It's fitting that
We got
Wade
this.
Phillips is a head coach again these days. Steve McNair tested the leg before the game, but it's Billy Volek from.
Oh, we got this for sure. They got their backup in.
Tom, his first start, but very early in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Big fella, Pat Williams, runs it.
Get it, Pat.
Stumbling. Touchdown, Buffalo. Their defense is very good. 17-6 Bill. But
Get out of there, Drew.
Bullock with the strip of Drew Bledsoe. Bullock also recovers. So now Tennessee in business, down by 11. Bullock. The big
Oh, come on,
touchdown.
man.
McNair sidelines, yes, sir. 2-point Titans conversion, yes. 17-14. Bullock. To Derek Mason.
No.
After a review, it was ruled the catch. It was a good review. He was him. Then Bullock to Justin McCarron. And just like that, Tennessee has come back.
Come on,
21-20.
defense. God.
Green, Eddie George. Looks like the old Eddie George until the end of the play. To the 4, it's a bumble. But Mason is right there for Tennessee. So 2nd and goal. Bullock to sneak. Touchdown. Billy Volek pumped. Heaves it in the crowd.
Get out of here, Billy Volek.
28-20.
Come on, Drew.
Game's about over. Bledsoe
We
was
got
really
this.
struggling, but on 4th and 2, minute and a half to go.
There you
to
go.
Bobby Shaw.
Go,
the
Bobby.
Shane Shaw redemption. 44 yards. Buffalo in position.
We're not giving up. Come on, Bledsoe.
Here. Nice. To
Yeah.
Mark. It's a 2-point game. 28-26.
All right.
Here
Get
comes
this
the
2-point conversion.
That's the Flutie. It's Bledsoe rolling out right.
What?
Incomplete.
No,
While they were
come on.
reviewing, Shaw says, look, I'm showing the ref that I
I
caught the
don't
ball,
know.
and when I put it up in the air, I lost it.
Hold on to it.
He explains it.
Yeah,
The ref
that's
doesn't
incomplete.
buy it,
Sorry
and
about it.
boom, and the
No.
Titans escape what could have been not a disaster,
No.
but would have been 3 straight losses.
Go
for the
on,
Tennessee
Buffalo.
Titans. Instead, they win it, and so they go to 10-4, still in the driver's seat for a wild card berth, or still alive because Indianapolis clinched a playoff berth.
All right, we're going to take care of these no good Miami Dolphins.
So many times the burial ground for this team, whether it's in the playoffs and
We're at home. We got this.
He's called Buffalo Bill games for a long,
Come on, Drew.
long.
Get out of there.
As in 37
No.
years calling his last home game. So very early on, Tim Bowens hits Drew Bledsoe.
God damn it,
Like
Drew.
calling this as Zach Thomas recovers the fumble, 6 Dolphin sacks. 2.5 by Jason Taylor.
Oh, good Lord.
Here's
Another
Bledsoe
one.
sack,
Another
Brown,
sack.
Pro Bowl.
No.
Yards and wide.
Well, that reaction is because oftentimes he feels
Man, Ruben Brown was pissed.
that Drew's holding on to the ball a little long.
Well, this time he got rid of it. Into the hands.
Oh,
of
no.
T-Buck.
Terrible
Mr.
pass.
Salmon, and Terrell Buckley takes a 13-3 game and makes it a Dolphin romp.
Come on,
Get
Drew.
in, T-Buck. Get in there. So Van Miller's final home broadcast. Not the
Oh,
way
he
he
just
wanted.
got totally
And you know what?
worked.
Here's another team. That
Oh,
now the
3
chips were
points.
down.
Put up 3 points.
Miami played New England and Philly 2 in a row. They hadn't
Got
lost
beat
in
by
over 2
sorry-ass
months.
Jay
So now they
Fiedler.
go up to Buffalo.
Oh,
They get,
man.
6 sacks, 2.5 from Jason Taylor, 12 tackles by Zach Thomas.
Embarrassing.
11 yards in the first half.
Yeah, and you looked at
Fiedler, 46 yards. We got beat by a guy who threw 46 yards.
29 carries by
What
Ricky
the
Williams.
fuck?
You can see how Dave Wannstedt is going to try to get to the playoffs.
No.
His final regular season game had
All right, we got
taking
this.
back to the first one.
17.
Judging by the Patriots'
We're gonna
most
do it.
dominating performance of the year. That
Gonna-
31-0
Come on, let's
lead
beat those
loss in
Patriots.
Buffalo was likely on the players'
Oh,
minds as well.
boy.
Brady's back to throw.
Steps, fires.
No.
By David Gibbons into the end. Looking left, fires left.
No.
By Bethel Johnson scoops it down and in.
No.
By halftime, the Patriots' lead was 28-0.
Oh, that's it? We got this. We can make a comeback. Come on, Bubba. Come on, Drew. Come back, City. No!
Defense did their best to make the ironic reversal in score hold.
Oh, man, guys. Come on, Drew. Come on, make it happen. No.
The Bills drove into Patriots
Oh,
territory
no, Travis,
4
come on.
times, but the proud Patriots defense forced turnover after turnover and refused
No.
to surrender a single point.
Oh, man.
The throw to the end zone. Ball
Yeah.
The Patriots preserve the shutout.
Oh, guys. So there's your highlights of the 2003 season. Yeah, did that hurt? You gotta laugh. Look, I laugh at that stuff. It's in the past. This is why I'm doing this series, the Down and Drought series. That shit's, you gotta laugh. I mean, you gotta laugh at that shit. Drew definitely held the ball a little bit too long there at times. And yeah, that's why I think he has like he's up there with like the most sack quarterback of all time. What is Drew? Let me see here. Let's see where Drew Bledsoe ranks. Where does Drew Bledsoe rank among most sacked quarterback? He's 13th all time. He was 467 career sacks over his 14-season career. He is recognized as one of the few quarterbacks in the league history to be sacked 400 or more times in fewer than 15 seasons. God damn, 467 sacks he took. Holy shit. He got sacked 54 times in 2002. Yeah, he is 13th all time with that. Man, that's fucking wild. That is wild. I mean, that dude could not get away from a sack. But yeah, man, guys, it doesn't get prettier from here. Right? So, as you may know, but for those that don't know, for those that didn't live through the drought, buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. We're going next week, episode 5. I'm going to be doing episode 5 next week, Sunday at 1 p.m. And we are going to cover the 2004 Buffalo Bills. And, man, talk about bad football. This is it. This is it. But once again, man, I feel like this is good for those that didn't live through it to kind of understand the history of the Buffalo Bills and what they went through and where we're at today. And thank God, we are where we're at today. We just need to win a Super Bowl. But and this is good for those that maybe forgot about some stuff or didn't even know about some stuff that happened during the drought years. So it's just a fun thing to do. Why not? It's the off season. I got nothing better to do on a Sunday at 1:00 anyways. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me. I will be back tomorrow night for Monday Night Uncensored at 10 p.m. Mikey will obviously be joining me. So, tune in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And then I'll be back on Friday Night Lights at 8 p.m. And then we'll be back again on Sunday at 1 p.m. to do episode 5, 2004 Buffalo Bills. So, Bills Mafia, you guys rule. Enjoy your Easter Sunday. And go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace. See, yeah, yes, you too, Bob. You too, Bob. Later, brother.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul, baby, feel it.